of that airport crash and, of course, the problems at the airport. I have Erol Morkoc, spokesperson for Republicans overseas. Erol, glad to have you join me.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, there's mounting chaos, as we witness at airport security checkpoints. And Trump has not only threatened, but moved in ICE agents led by Homan, the immigration czar. People are really being inconvenienced. What's your sense?
Yes, well, it's been a great result of as of this morning and yesterday, getting those ICE agents into the airports and actually getting the wait times at Atlanta Airport, which is the busiest airport in the world at times, the biggest airport in America, of course, down under 45 minutes. One of the things, of course, having the TSA being underfunded is that their daily call out rate has increased over 10%. So what ICE has been able to do is plug those gaps in areas such as who's guarding the door, not doing the specialized labor of looking at the monitors or near the screens, but just anything that they can do to take the pressure off the situation has really helped. So you've seen those lines really go from astronomical amounts, hours long, to now 45 minutes, like I said, in Atlanta and below. And that's only with 2 days of ICE agents being there. So it's been a huge inconvenience for many Americans. We saw Attorney General Bill Barr standing in a 3-hour line in LaGuardia. So it's affected everybody. You can't get around it. Even Congress, which has a special sort of backdoor access, expedited access, that was canceled because they didn't have the staff for doing that. So ICE being in there has been really helpful. It's gotten air travel back on track, of course, withstanding the awful tragedy in LaGuardia.
TSA, responsible for everything that happens at the airport, they're calling this an insult, sending ICE agents who House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries warned bluntly that deploying untrained ICE agents at airports risks repeating the conduct that had already cost life. TSA union, like I said, calls it an insult to deploy ICE agents to the airport.
No,
Untrained.
Jeffries is a
ICE
grandstander, but ultimately the idea that, okay, regarding the accident that happened, that mainly comes down to the fact that the ambulance didn't have the transponder inside of it, so it wasn't getting the automatic stopping orders. There was a breakdown in the chain of custody of mechanical failures. The idea that ICE agents were going to be in the control booth talking to some ICE agent driving a truck on the tarmac for the first time is just political gamesmanship by Mr. Jeffries. The reality is the ICE agents are there at the exits, the very last guy to pat you down, the people doing the security, all the kind of non-specialized things that TSA agents have to do now to make up for the staff shortages. So ICE isn't performing TSA's duties. They're providing security duties that are giving TSA the ability now, as we've seen, to reduce those lines by 60, 70%.
Now, you called Jeffries. It's not only Jeffries I mentioned. TSA, the people responsible, the union, TSA union, are calling this an insult. So it's not just Jeffries' matter. The people who should be responsible are calling it an insult. Now, the big question is, why would you send U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement agents who are only trained in law enforcement and immigration, not airport security, to take on these roles? Why not pay the people?
Well, because unfortunately Congress can't agree on a budget. So the organization that has been funded amply, of course, by the big beautiful bill was ICE. And ICE has the budget and ICE has the manpower. And this is, of course, something that they can step in an intermediate time. You've had offers, of course, from Elon Musk because it's so frustrating to pay these people. But eventually, we need to have Congress fund them. And if Congress isn't going to fund them, then it's the responsibility of the executive branch as a fiduciary and also defense responsibility to the people to do this. And the result has been, of course, the reduction of these great waits, these extended stays. So it's been productive and helpful, and the response by passengers has been positive. Now, you're absolutely right. They should be paying the ICE agent. I'm sorry, they should be paying the TSA agents to do their job. And because Congress isn't funding that, we're in this situation. So the president is using his executive authority. So the ball is in Congress's court, and unfortunately, it's just not a very effective body.
Now, Today will make it a month and probably 8, 9, 10 days. Workers, including TSA staff, have not been paid. 366 more than now have resigned. There were those that resigned last year. 6 weeks shutdown. By March 28, the lawmakers are due to go on recess. Lawmakers have less than 48 hours to reach funding deal for DHS. But Trump is saying he's not happy about any compromise deal. He seems to be, I don't know whether to say, worsening the situation.
Well, compromise, of course, with caveats that are unacceptable to the Republican Party. So right now we're in a deadlocked situation, and both parties are not going to, I guess. Unfortunately, we're playing games with people's lives regarding the midterms, and by people's playing games, I'm referring to people in the U.S. Congress, and that can go for both sides. There can be blame leveled both ways, but some of the requests from the Democrats aren't going to work, and more importantly, it's about making sure, I think, that the voting rights laws, making sure that people who vote are U.S. citizens. These are the things that are being tied up, and the victim here is, of course, the TSA workers. Now, the TSA workers, of course, will be paid everything in back pay, and last time Trump did give a sizable bonus to the workers who did stick around. But this isn't the way to govern a country, and this certainly isn't an acceptable situation for the U.S. citizens. So this is not a good situation, but thankfully, with ICE coming in, we've at least reduced the strain and pressure on the individual everyday traveler.
But it hasn't reduced. Today I was watching the news, 4 to 5 hours. People are still standing on the line. Well, Democrats have refused to pass a full DHS funding bill unless the administration agrees to reforms of ICE. Why is the administration refusing to these reforms? I mean,
because we don't take our orders from the Democrat caucus and these sort of irrelevant people. They want to unmask people
because of
and then have their families doxxed and abused. The violence towards ICE officers, the people protecting our country, has been well documented. The policies the Democrats want to enact are only going to put our ICE officers in more jeopardy, and Tom Homan and the president isn't going to allow that. And these people, honestly, they're not going to control the future of American border, because when they were in charge, they let hundreds of thousands of people pour into this country, taking social services from the poorest people, while they provided nothing for the American working class. And that's why President Trump was elected, and that's why this is going forward without them.
All right, on a last note, the LaGuardia incident, reports are saying the tracking system failed.
Yeah, the tracking system not only failed, it seemed like there wasn't a transponder that should have been in one of the trucks. So that would have been an additional redundancy system. So we have a breakdown in the chain of custody of procurement, as well as maybe some questions onto how the automatic sort of algorithmic tracking data there allowed this to happen. But it was a systemic failure from the top down, and it resulted in the loss of lives and as well injuries. So all in all, a complete tragedy in the middle of what has been a awful week of travel. Let's go ahead and be grateful that we were involved in a deadly week of travel for everybody rather than just delays.
All right, glad to have you on The World. Speaking from Detroit, Erol Morkoc, spokesperson for Republicans overseas. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brad.
Well, the British police have